Anyone can create a copy of a GitHub project by clicking on the fork button or by git cloning and pushing. Therefore, GitHub contains many millions of copied projects. This is a problem for empirical software engineering. When we analyze data with multiple repository copies, the results can end up skewed. Also, when we train machine learning models with such data, the resulting models can behave incorrectly. In practice, we found that the task of finding and grouping together copied repositories is challenging. We found such projects by selecting them and analyzing the GHTorrent dataset. The code and primary data of this study are openly available online. Here is how we created the dataset. We first linked shared commits to a single attractor project, which was derived based on the geometric mean of 6 quality attributes: recency of the latest commit, number of stars, forks, commits, issues, and pull requests. In addition, the project ID was used as a tiebreaker. We used a query utilizing the SQL window functions in order to group together shared commits without creating excessively large result sets. To increase coverage, we complemented the project's sharing commits table with projects related through forking. But first we removed a set of projects that mistakenly linked together unrelated clusters. For the same reason, we removed from the combined graph small connected clusters. Next, we converted the identified projects into an unweighted graph to find its connected components. These would form the groups of related projects. The final steps involved determining the size of each group, associating it with each project and its metrics, obtaining the mean metric for the selected projects, and associating with each group the project excelling in the metric. This was then used to create the deduplication table by linking each project to the sibling with the highest mean metric. We arrived at the described process after numerous false starts, experiments, and a lot of manual effort. Some problems included the discovery that in GHTorrent, shared commits do not always lead to the same ancestral commit, many huge connected component subgraphs, a query that exhausted 128 GB of RAM, and a result set that exceeded the 4 billion maximum rows of PostgreSQL. You can find many more details in an extended description available online. The dataset is provided as 2 files identifying GitHub repositories using the login name project name convention. The first file contains about 11 million records mapping a duplicated source project to a definitive target project. A second file is a 50 million member superset containing also projects that we excluded from the mapping as noise. To use these files in your work, use the first to map potentially duplicate projects into a set of definitive ones. Then, remove any remaining projects that appear in the second file, as these are likely to be low-value projects with a high probability of duplication. As a use example, we deduplicated the Reaper dataset and found around 30,000 duplicate projects. We also evaluated this dataset with another constructed using community detection of shared commits. The 2 datasets share a large overlap, but the other is more comprehensive than this, covering more forges. Qualitatively, we notice that the other dataset seems more precise at clustering than this one, but worse at naming the clusters. I recommend using the provided dataset to improve the quality of empirical software engineering studies. You can also use it for evaluating the effect of duplication in published studies and for investigating the ecosystem of duplicated projects in terms of activity, duplication methods, forks versus commits, tree depth, currency, or completeness. Thank you for watching this. I hope you soon publish research based on this dataset.